Hello everybody, my name is Paul McKeever, and this is my new guitar build. Alright, so I had hoped that I would not have to drill the holes in the pickups. You'll see right here's a pickup cover. I'm talking about this hole right here, and where the pickup would be underneath, there would be also a flare out like that on the pickup itself. This is just the cover for the pickup. This hole here has to be wide enough that these screws don't catch on the hole. When I tested those screws, which are size 4, and put them through both this cover and the pickup, I got some movement just by pushing straight through. However, as it turns out, I'd hoped, by turning the screw in there, it would just sort of break away any tightness and everything would float nicely. I've got some foam, you'll recall, underneath the pickup, which should push the pickup up to touch the head of the screw. But as it's turning out, no, it's not quite free in there. It's not loose enough. So what I'm going to have to do is drill out not the cap so much. I mean, this is just a piece of plastic. It's not going to be a big problem. The pickup itself, though, has grooves in it for the height adjustment screws, and those need to be drilled out because otherwise they're catching on the screw here. So what size do I need to use? I've had a look at the cap, and a 9/16, this is the part that goes into the drill. 9/16 just fits through there nicely. I'm going to start with a 9/16. I don't want to make it too wide too fast. Again, we don't care about the cap so much. That's not what we're trying to drill out. What we're trying to drill out is the pickup underneath. Now, one of the problems I'm going to have here is I'm going to have to loosen the strings. I don't want to take them off entirely. Their tension holds this baby here in place. In other words, as soon as I take the tension off, it's going to want to tilt back because of the springs that are underneath. So it's a delicate balance, but we'll make it work. So first I'm going to loosen off the strings. I'll pull 3 over here. I'll pull 3 over there. I'll take the screws out of one pickup, and I'll take the pickup out of the body, drill through, and then put it back and see if we can do some height adjustment. That's the problem, you see. We want to be able to, when we loosen off the screw, we want the pickup to float up a little bit closer to the strings. When we turn down, we want the pickup to go down further in, and it's the foam behind the pickup that will be pushing up the pickup. It's not the case that the screw itself is winding up the pickup. So I'm going to start with the neck pickup. I'm just going to take the screws out first. You'll see how the pickup wants to move with or rather resists moving when I'm pulling out the screw. It should be lifting up. When I'm loosening the screw, it's not doing so. At least it's not floating freely. It's caught on the screw. So I'm going to take the screws out, and then I'm going to loosen off these strings. And hopefully I'll be able to get this pickup out. That's one. That's 2. You can see the sponge underneath should probably add just a bit more sponge under there now that it's been compressed for a little while. Good. And tighten this E string just to see where we sit in terms of terms of pickup height without screwing it in yet. So yes, even with that extra bit of foam in there, this side of the pickup is not going to ride so high that it's problematic. All right, so we'll take our screw and see if it's still catching. I can already feel a big difference. I can feel a big difference. It doesn't seem to be catching at all. Right, I don't know if you can see that, but the pickup is now riding freely. So that was a 9/16 drill bit, managed to drill out the pickup teeth, as it were. Gotta find that proper spot. All right. I wonder if with this wiggle, because there is some wiggle because it's floating on a piece of foam, I'm thinking we should probably, there's not really room for a washer around that screw from what I could see. It would have to be something underneath the pickup to hold it so that it's not tipping. So what we're going to do is loosen that off again. In fact, I think the better way to do it might be to put a piece of foam in front. Just see. All right. Well, we'll have to experiment with that. I think that's just a hazard of having done the direct mount, that you can't control too easily this wiggliness. You're going to have to put some kind of shim in there to hold it right where you want it. The wires are causing the pickup to want to lean a little bit forward, so we're going to have to shim it just a bit so that it sits properly. But at least we've got the height now so that we can adjust it without the pickup grabbing the screw. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on these two. All right, so we've now got all three pickups. The little holes drilled out so that the pickup can now ride. You'll see, I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but the pickups are sitting much more closely to the string, and I'll be able to squeeze them down if I have to against the foam to bring them away from the string so as to adjust, how much of the signal is coming from the low E string and the strings, and how much signal is coming from the higher strings. So at this point, we've got the pickups riding below the level of the strings, which is good. We've got the pickups in a position where they can move up and down. That's great.